Retirement isn't about slowing down. It's about choosing what's worth your energy. One thing I figured out early in retirement is this. If you want to keep growing, you need to have tools that invite you to show up. That is to encourage you, to maybe it'll excite you, to keep up the excitement about this new journey of retirement. I still go to the office, not because I have to, but because I want to. It's the same room where I used to manage 3 software development teams for years. Same desk, same chair, different reason for being there. Before I retired, I knew that photography and video were going to become more than hobbies. They were going to be how I stayed curious, how I stayed sharp. And I got into video later. I had a camera and was excited about being a photographer since I was in my teens. But video came later when I wanted to share pictures that we took on trips or family events and do it in a snazzy way. It would be kind of fun for the family. And that meant I needed tools that didn't get in the way of learning. Now, your version of this will look totally different than mine. Well, I think it will. If you love woodworking, it might be a better table saw. If you love golf, it might be a new set of clubs. If you love fishing, maybe it's the boat you always talked yourself out of while you were working. For me, it started with a computer. On my last day of corporate life, I had to turn in my company laptop. And suddenly I was thinking, I'm kind of used to having a laptop when I'm on the road. So my first piece of retirement gear was a laptop that let me keep creating wherever we happen to be. Cheryl and I like to travel, but I didn't want to unplug from learning just because we were on the road. I wanted something light, dependable, powerful enough to keep me moving forward. And here's the part that matters. I didn't shop for a laptop. I shopped for a purpose. I asked myself, what do I want to do with my time? Where do I want to do it? And what would make it easier to keep learning? Now, for some people, the answer is simple. Email, photos, video calls with family, a basic computer, maybe even just a really good smartphone. That could be plenty for your needs. For me, learning meant editing photos and then, of course, videos and getting better at both. So I chose a laptop that could keep up with me and still be light enough to carry. Not the best, not the most expensive, just good enough that it wouldn't slow me down. And that same thinking carried over to my next decision. Because while I do like working on the road, I also like having a place where everything just works, right? That's why I still have a desktop computer in my office, and it was getting a little old. I'm not going to share specs. This is not a technical review of any kind. This is about confidence in the tools that you need to make retirement fun. In my case, photography and video editing. When I sit down at the desk, I know I can focus on creating instead of fighting the tools that I had. I still keep a to-do list. I still set goals. I really do. I have a daily to-do list. I have goals that I set out, some as many as a year from now. And I still use the same software every day because it gives me room to grow. Tools like Zoner Photo Studio, Zoner Studio now is what they've called it, and DaVinci Resolve. Zoner for editing photos, and DaVinci Resolve for editing videos. I wanted a computer that would grow with me. So I worked with my son, Sean. He's built gaming computers before on his own. And I said, Sean, let's figure out what makes sense for how I use a computer, how I learn using the computer. Not how other people do things, not how other people learn, and that's the key. Retirement gear isn't about keeping up with technology or the latest trend in golf gear. It's about removing friction between you and the thing you love. Now, for me, that meant a custom-built desktop. I got it from Digital Storm. Highly recommend them. I got it just exactly what I wanted, with the latest NVIDIA processor, an AMD CPU, and I bought a great big old Asus Accurate monitor, color graded Accurate monitor that lets me trust what I'm seeing, which is important when you're editing photos and videos. Now for you, might be a new workshop. Could be a practice range in the backyard. It could be a sewing room. It could be a kayak. The question isn't what should I buy? The question is, what kind of learner do I want to be in retirement? And what would help me show up tomorrow? The next piece of gear that I want to talk about might be a little surprising. It's not something you can hold in your hands, but it really did change how often I wanted to sit down and create. Of course, I'm talking about software. When I retired, I didn't suddenly become this great expert photographer or video editor. I mean, I'd been carrying a camera around since I was a teenager and really had been into it. I used to develop my own film, but I'd never used the electronic darkroom much. So I became a student again. And early on, I learned something important. The tools, if they feel frustrating, become things you will not use. If they feel inviting, you'll keep coming back. So that's why I settled on a few pieces of software that matched how I like to learn, not what the internet says is the best. For photo editing, for instance, the two most popular are also among the most expensive, with that monthly recurring fee. So I chose Zoner Studio. I like it because it's powerful, doesn't punish you for experimenting, and honestly, for about the cost of a nice dinner each year, it gives me everything I need to keep moving without feeling overwhelmed. I also use another photo package called ON1 Photo Raw, especially when I want to do something that I can't find in Zoner Studio yet, or I want to try maybe a different creative approach. Some tools just make things easier, and in retirement, easier is good. The same thing happened when I started doing more video. I had started doing video for slideshows for the family using a product called VideoPad, and then later I moved to Microsoft Clipchamp, but they didn't quite do what I want, and Clipchamp came with a cost to get all of the things that I wanted to do. So I moved to DaVinci Resolve, initially the free version because it had way more than I really needed. And eventually, after about a year and a half, I moved up to the paid version, DaVinci Resolve Studio, because it gave me room to grow. I didn't need all of those features at once, but I liked knowing they were there when I was ready. And here's where it really clicked for me. As I learned more, I discovered that other creators were using and sharing tools that made the process of editing in DaVinci Resolve even more enjoyable. Things like plugins and extensions from people like Mr. Alex Tech and Jake Whip. Not because I had to have them. They removed a little bit of speed bumps along the way, made it easier for me to use the software, and as I said, easier is nice in retirement. And when something is easier, you'll do it more often. And when you do it more often, you get better. And when you get better, you start having a lot more fun. And that's really what this gear is all about. Not productivity, not perfection, but momentum. The momentum to keep learning and enjoying and having a reason to get up every morning. Number 5 on my list, not necessarily your list, is probably the most visible of the things that I've acquired for gear. And of course, now remember, it's not really about the gear, it's about freedom. As I leaned more into creating YouTube videos, I realized something. Most of the stories I wanted to tell happen outside. It's where I take my pictures. Walking a trail, exploring a new place, stopping to take photos, talking through what I'm seeing and feeling in the moment. I didn't want to turn recording those moments into some big production. I didn't want to have somebody come along with me. So That's why I bought this Hover Air. This drone flies itself. Hi, Hover. Hover.
Hover. Continue. Hover.
I happened to see a review of it. I had a couple of small, inexpensive drones a few years ago, realized that I really didn't know how to fly a drone. I decided now when I saw that this thing would fly itself simply by me saying, hi, Hover. So that's why I bought this Hover Air X1 Pro. And not because it's a drone, because it acts like a camera operator. Now, I had experimented with a couple of small, inexpensive drones years ago and realized that I couldn't become a drone operator. But the X1 Hover Air lets me stay in the moment while I'm still capturing the story. I don't have to stop, set up a tripod, put the phone on it, walk back, walk forward, repeat. I can just be there. And that matters because the more natural it feels, the more likely I am to hit record. That little flying camera fits neatly into the laptop, but it also fits perfectly into who I've become in retirement. Not someone who's chasing views, not someone who's reviewing gadgets, but someone documenting curiosity, someone exploring at his own pace, someone leaning into this new identity I have for myself as a retired guy with a camera. It makes it just a whole lot more fun. Trust me when I say retirement is not the end of the road. It's just a new path. It's a new adventure. You realize none of this is about the gear, right? It's about the things that will keep you interested. The tools that you'll need for the things that interest you. It's not about a computer or a laptop or a drone. It's about the things that will work for you. So, for instance, that could be a workshop, could be a new lathe, could be a new set of clubs. The point is that it's what's going to help you stay engaged with the things that interest you. And your list is going to certainly be different than mine. I thought I'd play a lot of golf, and I haven't played in the last 2 years since I retired. That's okay. I found that the photography that I'd always enjoyed became really interesting. And acquiring better software, better computers, and a new drone helped me live that passion. So what's going to be on your list? I hope you'll let me know in the comment. I'm Dr. Vore. I'm a retired guy with a camera, and I really appreciate you taking a walk with me. And let me know in the comments what you're going to do with your list.